Hey everybody, it's Party Elite with a beginner's guide to Total War Warhammer. Having artillery on your side of the battle can make a significant difference to the encounter. Though it's a bad idea to build an artillery-heavy army, a few units can help turn a close battle into a definite victory. In a siege battle, artillery is used to take down walls and gates and then rain terror onto the enemy defenses. This video focuses on their use in field battles instead. There are a few different kinds of artillery units. For the purpose of this video, I want to focus on units that have an extremely long range and don't need to fly over their targets to hit them, so we're not looking at gyrocopters or organ guns here. Artillery should always be kept furthest back in your army. To be honest, they're not typically worth protecting over the course of the whole battle unless it's a campaign battle and there's the time and cost of recruitment to keep in mind. Though, I'd keep them safe from a flanking maneuver at the start, otherwise you've completely wasted your points. Put some spearmen or halberdiers on either side of them just to keep them safe. When the battle starts, your artillery does a few things that most other units can't. First, it starts causing immediate damage to enemy units. Look for clumps of enemy units to target first. Failing that, look for high-quality, slow-moving units, then low-quality, slow-moving units. Don't waste shots on fast units. You'll miss pretty often, and you want to use this opportunity to hurt the scarier units that the enemy has. Now, as the enemy approaches, you might not see too many deaths among their units. For many, this makes artillery a write-off, but take a look at the enemy HP. Damage to HP means these individuals are being softened up for your other units to finish off. In the end screen, if there was a column for assists, artillery would be MVP. But damage is the obvious use for artillery. Apart from that, it also gives you control of the battlefield. If you have artillery and your enemy does not, you force them into action. If you're at the base of a hill, for example, and your opponent is on the high ground, you can pull them down from the high ground with some consistent shelling. They're not simply going to stand there and get damaged, and even if they do and they hold steady, at least you've leveled the playing field a bit, metaphorically speaking, of course. Artillery is also great for damaging enemy morale. When under artillery fire, you'll see that the enemy units have a separate negative modifier for their leadership stat. This stacks on top of other leadership debuffs and can help significantly when the melee begins. Finally, artillery pieces with a relatively high arc of fire can be used to attack enemy reserve units once the melee has begun. They can also be used to attack units that are actively in combat. The ability to target the ground just behind the enemy can cause serious damage, and brings back the leadership penalty for being under artillery fire, even if they're currently fighting your troops hand to hand. Take a close look at the firing arc though. You'll notice there's a minimum range indicator as well, so you have to make sure that your artillery is far back enough to make use of this tactic. Artillery is the very definition of a support unit. It doesn't make sense to fill an army with it, but their proper use gives you control of the battlefield before the fighting even starts, allowing you to dictate the terms of the battle. And that's what being a great general is about. For more tips and tricks, subscribe to this channel, and if there's something you'd like to see covered, let me know in the comments below.